Hey everybody, thank you for being patient with us. We are here, Nashville Meets World Concert Series, and thank you so much to Cameron Tilbury for having us. My name is Jessica Ridley. This is Jarrett James. He was kind enough to learn a whole bunch of my songs for me. Thank you so much, my friend.
No problem.
I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so this is going to be so much fun. I can't tell you how excited I am to be playing some original music. If you know anything about me, you know that I play or have played for many years on Broadway in Nashville, Tennessee, doing cover songs galore. So I can sing you any cover song you want, but I don't often get the chance to do this and sing my own music and share it with the world. So Nashville Meets World seemed like the perfect place to try some of these out. The first song I want to do for you guys is a brand new tune, new to be recorded, but we actually wrote it a few years ago. It's called Breathing Water, and I wrote this at a place that I would consider one of my favorite places in the entire world. My family has either gone to or rented, and now they own a place on a little lake in Idaho in the States here. And it has just been a formative thing in my life to go there and be at this place. And I mean, I've been a lot of places. I've been to beaches and mountains and across the pond and you name it. But there's something about Twin Lakes, Idaho, where I can just go there and just be. And there's this peace that just surrounds you. And it's a place I'm really proud to take people that I know and that I love, because I love to show that off. And I've had some rough times this last few years, and I can just remember even going through that, being there, it just helped so much. And I got the chance to bring two of my dearest friends at the time, one of them is now my husband, up to the lake there in Idaho, and we did a little bit of a writer's retreat. And we wrote this tune, and at the time, I don't think they were necessarily thinking what I was thinking when we were writing this, but what it means to me is that, and I hate this saying that people talk about, like every relationship, some are for a season, some are for a lifetime, but it's true. And as much as that is a knife to the gut sometimes, it's really true. Not every relationship is going to last forever. And this song is kind of what that means to me. It's like being with you. It could be a friend. It could be a partner. It doesn't matter. Sometimes, no matter what you do, sometimes being with someone is like breathing water. And I didn't know how much this song was going to mean to me. There's been so many situations over this last few years where I can be like, oh man, you look back at something you wrote 5 years ago and go, I didn't know it was going to mean so much to me. So that is what this is about. And I just feel like I wanted to share this, and we're putting it on the new record that's coming out soon. And by the way, website over here, jessicaridley.com, if you guys want to check any of this stuff out as it comes out. So away we go, Breathing Water. Sometimes you want something you'll never reconcile, chasing shadows, living in denial. I think it just now hit me, I'm trying to stop a train, I'm trying to start a fire in the middle of the pouring rain. It's catching thunder or growing younger. There's some things you can't do no matter how hard you try. I'm realizing I'll never make you mine. It's like breathing water. What I really want to do is go back in time. Before I was a fool, ignoring all those signs. I may be a hopeless dreamer, but now I finally know we're gonna be together when heaven's full of snow. It's like catching thunder, we're growing younger. There's some things you can't do no matter how hard you try. I'm realizing I'll never make you mine. It's like breathing water, breathing water. It's like breathing water. It's breathing water. Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you,
Great song.
guys. Thank you. Okay, I have another story. I've got lots of stories. I'm going to tell you guys all the stories behind these songs. So this song is kind of a pivotal moment in my entire life, really, and I had no idea at the time. So I was recording my first record called Fit to be Tied, which will be back up, remastered on iTunes very shortly. But I was recording this thing, and we were all done. Like, we were pretty much finished the entire thing, ready to go live with it. And all of a sudden, someone I knew showed me this song and said, Bob Carlisle and a guy named Dennis Patton wrote this song. And I knew who Bob was because I listened to country music in the 90s, and so did everybody else. And every wedding on the planet for like the last 2 decades, I think, has had a father-daughter dance with Bob Carlisle's Butterfly Kisses. So I knew who he was, and it turns out that this Dennis Patton guy knew a bunch of the same people that I know, and I reached out to him on Facebook and saw we had all these mutual friends, and I was like, we need to get a coffee or something. I'm singing one of your songs. I'm recording it. So he was like, yeah, sure, and we met up at a Starbucks in Cool Springs and just immediately hit it off, fast friends. And of course, you hear me be like, okay, well, you'd think, and you hear me say, oh, he's my husband now, so people think, oh, it was love at first sight, And really, that couldn't have been further from the truth. He was coming out of a relationship, I was married, all these kids, and it was just like, here I was visiting Nashville and just met up with this person, I'd cut one of his songs. So we were fast friends, there for each other through a lot of crazy. We actually wrote a song the first day that we met, ironically called That's How Love Gets Made, that's going to be on the record too. But it was just nuts, all the little things that just kept lining up. And we actually met 1/11/11, and so that became kind of a thing for us, was these 11s, and we ended up, the wedding day wasn't a coincidence, we picked that, we got married on 11/11, but it was because of all these 11s that kept showing up. It was insane. So I did a music video for this song. I got to know Dennis because of this song. It actually made it to number 62 on the Billboard charts like 9 years ago or something like that. Wow. And it let me go on this radio tour. Seriously, one of the most fun things ever. It was just a blast. I got to jump in a car with these guys that were tracking my songs at radio, and we drove all over. We drove up to, I guess we flew to like the Northeast, like New England, did like
you would
20
travel
stations.
to all the local stations around
and just
there.
show up, play some songs, and there's some of that stuff on YouTube. I actually just sent Jarrett one so he could hear us do it live, just me and a guitar, but it was so much fun. I look back on that time with such fondness because it was just an absolute blast, kind of getting my feet wet in this whole industry, and I was so clueless. And I don't pretend to be much more knowledgeable now, but I think I've learned a few things.
It's nothing like going on a promo tour to
and spending the kind of money we
lessons.
spent on it. Oh my Lord. So this song though, it's really funny to me that 2 dudes wrote it, and it has touched women's lives everywhere. And again, you don't think this stuff is going to have that kind of an impact, but I even had the email I remember the most was a lady who was on leave from her position in like Iraq or something like that, and she said she came across my song and just felt like it was giving her permission to be good to herself, because one of the main point of the song is that if you are not good to yourself, you can't be good to anyone else. So it just meant a lot to me to hear her say that, and it's been kind of I can't tell you how many times I've quoted that to my kids, and self-care.
Every one of these songs are very inspirational, especially men. My favorite one's Men. I'm sure that's your husband's favorite one too. Anyway, all your songs are very positive and uplifting, and I love your music.
Thank
seriously.
you, Jarrett. Thank you.
I'm sure everyone at home feels that way as well.
Let's do a little Flaming Red.
Oh yeah. You got my pink capo here.
And this is a metaphor, okay? Dyeing your hair flaming red doesn't have to be what you do. Just go do something good for yourself. As you can tell, I'm going to be blonde forever. That's all there is to it. take a long bath, turn the radio on, and sing really, really loud to all my favorite songs. Eat a whole box of Oreos in my bed. I might even dye my hair flaming red. Flaming red. Well, my daddy told me, he said, girl, always be good to yourself. 'Cause if you don't do it, you can't be good to anyone else. Well, daddy, you were right. I'm gonna take your sound advice. I'm gonna disconnect the phone and stay home tonight. I'm gonna put my big flannel jammies on and keep an overdue appointment with Haagen-Dazs. I'm not even gonna think about shaving my legs, not even dye my hair flaming red. Flaming red. So go on without me. You're so gracious to invite. But I think I'll be staying here tonight. I'm gonna take a long bath, turn the radio on, and sing really, really loud to all my favorite songs. Eat a whole box of Oreos in my bed. Might even dye my hair ridiculously red. I'm gonna watch a sad movie and cry at the end. Then I'll rewind it back and watch it over again. I can't remember how long it's been since I actually read a book all the way to the end. Gonna eat all the chocolate and I find one more. Grab my hat and sunglasses at the corner store. Not even wearing makeup and just like I said, might even dye my hair flaming red. A flaming red. A flaming red. Yeah. Just like I say it. Da-da-da-da, yeah. Da-da-da-da, yeah.
Awesome. I'd love to see you as a flaming red hair
We did an alternate ending to the music video that didn't make it in there.
with the flaming red hair.
I got a wig. I didn't
That's
dye
awesome.
it. I'm too much of a chicken.
You'll have to show everybody now since you said
The
that.
outtakes. I bet you I could get a hold of those outtakes and I could show people that. Y'all, there's a thing down here in Nashville called allergies. And
Yeah,
I
no
didn't
kidding.
have any until I moved here. Well, that's a lie too. I didn't ever have an allergy to anything. And I moved here and I told people that. They were like, "Oh yeah, just wait 5 years. Just give it 5 years." So about 9 years ago, come this fall, I moved here from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And they were right, by the way. There is such a thing as really bad allergies in this town. It's crazy. So,
Trust me, after 12 years here, I
Yeah,
think
you
I'm
share.
almost finally immune to it.
does that happen? I have something to look forward
I
to.
think, hopefully.
Okay. So, this next song we want to do, speaking of the lake in Idaho that I love to be at, we get to go once a year, and we would be there, I think, like right now, if it wasn't for all the crazy that's going on, because my family can't even get down here. They're in Canada, and the borders are closed, so we haven't seen my parents in like a year, and my kids miss them like crazy, and they miss my kids, and we're just sad about it, but it'll happen at some point. So I was up at the
What
lake.
a mess.
It is a mess. I was up at the lake a couple years ago, I want to say, maybe 2, and I was just sitting by the fire, and this lyric just came to me, and I wrote this whole lyric in probably like 5 minutes. It just came to me. And I sent it up to Dennis and just never really thought anything of it. And when I got home, he was like, "Hey, I got a surprise for you." and he had written music to it. So that has become now our first single off of this record.
Awesome.
And all you folks in the UK, it is being played on radio like crazy over there, thanks to Charlotte, my dear friend. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we're planning a tour next probably April or May. So if that's something you want to see me do, we got a GoFundMe going. All the links to this stuff are in my Instagram bio. So if you click on that, it's just right there in the bio, and you can find my GoFundMe links to the new record. You can find the links to the UK tour, and my website and my merch page and all that stuff. But this song I wrote it because I just feel like so many people these days are looking for a relationship to stay fresh and new and exciting, and then when that wears off, they just give up on it because it's not butterflies anymore. And once you get to the other side of that stuff, I was sitting there actually looking at my parents across from the fire from me, and they'll have been married 40 years next month, I think.
Congratulations.
Whew, it chokes me up a little bit to talk about that. But just get past that newness and make sure whoever you're with is your best friend. And then when that new butterfly feeling is gone, you've got that to fall back on, and it really is better. Do you remember going to movies just to sit in the back and make out, and sneaking off somewhere secluded because it had to be right now? But when your slightest touch would steal my breath away, we were a love song waiting to be
Sorry,
played.
I totally screwed up. This is my bad. I just learned this song. So
He just learned all of these songs.
Everybody with me. I totally lost track. I'm sorry about
You
this,
are
Jess,
totally
man.
good. Totally good.
We can start over if you
Okay.
want to. But,
Let's go a little quicker,
anyway.
maybe.
All right. Was that a little too slow that time?
Yeah, let's do a little quicker.
All right. What key are we in again? I'm totally
B.
losing track. Key of
Right?
B. That's right.
Poor guy. I literally just sent him like 20 songs. It was like, here you go. Do you remember going to movies just to sit in the back and make out, and sneaking off somewhere secluded because it had to be right now? When your slightest touch would steal my breath away, we were a love song waiting to be played. But now when I breathe in, yeah, you breathe out, and your hands know me better than they know themselves. Our sweet silence says more than any old love letter. No, it ain't as good as it used to be. Oh, baby, it's better. I used to think you hung the moon, and now I'm hanging all your clothes. And if hearts are skipping beats these days, maybe a doctor needs to know. The butterflies have flown and the mothballs need refilling. The honeymoon is over, but when we Netflix, we're so chilling. 'Cause now I'm breathing, or you breathe out. Your hands know me better than they know themselves. Our sweet silence says more than any old love letter. Oh, it ain't as good as it used to be. Baby, it's better. all good. It was rough on both of our parts.
I've got about 10 things going on in my head.
Yeah, and they're all my songs that I made you learn today.
And I've got this chart here in case anybody wants to look at it, and I'm reading off of this. And anyway, if you're not following right along with it, you get a little lost. And I was like, oh God, I'm so lost. Anyway, hope it gave everybody at home a good laugh.
That, and guess what? It's on iTunes, so just go listen there, and you can hear the polished version.
That's my favorite song, by the way, that you have.
Really?
That song's awesome.
Well, thank you. It means a lot to me, because it's true. I really just feel like people need to just get past the hump and just hold on to something that turns into something better. So I would absolutely adore. I was going to say we should save this for later. Okay. But I am struggling, and I'm going to grab water, and if you would play a song. Absolutely. That would make my day.
Yeah, sure. Go do your thing. I'll be happy to.
Okay. Jarrett James, y'all. Oh, I'm not worried.
Jarrett James, go check out my music as well on iTunes and Spotify. Spelled just like it sounds, Jarrett. This is my new song called Lucky Strikes. I drank a lot of wine since you left me. Drank a lot of wine before you came. Sit around and cut some morning sunlight. Since you took off, ain't a damn thing changed. I've been killing time, smoking Lucky Strikes. Bitching that there ain't a thing on TV. Still trying to play my guitar, but inspiration is hiding from me. House smells just like a barroom. Bottles piled up on the side. Last week they repoed the car. I can sit right here when I wanna take a ride. I drank a lot of wine since you left me. Drank a lot of wine before you came. I sit around for some morning sunlight. Since you took off, ain't a damn thing changed. I've been hanging around with a bad crowd. I've been drinking all alone. With Jerry, Jeff, Jack Daniels, and the bill collectors coming on. I drank a lot of wine since you left me. I drank a lot of wine before you came. I sit around with some morning sunlight. Since you took off, ain't a damn thing changed. Sorry, but I'm gonna have to let you go now. Think I'm gonna head off to sleep. City just shut off my lights. I'm down to empty. I drank a lot of wine since you left me. I drank a lot of wine before you came. I sit around and cut some morning sunlight. Since you took off, ain't a damn thing changed. Got Lucky Strikes, y'all. Go check it out. Jarrett James.
Yeah, man.
Music.com.
Sounds awesome.
Facebook,
Sounds
Instagram.
like iTunes and stuff too? Can
all
we
that.
buy it?
That's right. You can buy it on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music,
Please do.
all your streaming platforms. Jessica
All the
Ridley.
places. Okay, I'm going to do a real quick thing and check some comments and see what's going on here. Oh, I'm not going to do that, though.
That's nice and loud. All right.
It is nice and loud. Sounding good out there. Jarrett is awesome and amazing, says
thank
Peter.
You. Thanks, Peter.
Hey, Tim and Eric. Stick around. I've got something. Actually, the next song. I'm going to, just stay here. Karen says, hey. Hey, Kyler. Thanks, Eric. I always forget to do this. Ruth, you're awesome. Lisa, thank you. Jarrett always sounds great.
Oh, thank you. Shucks.
You got some fans here, man. I love it. Okay. I'm going to go back to that in a bit and check some more comments. If there's anything that you guys, at the end of this, we may have time, maybe, to do a request or two. But for now, let's do... Okay, this song's another... I can talk all day, as you guys could have noticed, maybe. This next song, this one... Okay, so I moved to Nashville, like I told you, 9 years ago. And...
There you go.
Thank you, friend. Okay. And my manager and I used to do like a co-write a week and we were just always writing songs and stuff. And this was like I said, like 9 years ago, kind of before like, you guys should see the technology in my living room right now. I don't even know what's happening. Jarrett just brought over like a suitcase of cords and phones and cameras, and he's tapping things with his feet. It's incredible. But back like 9 years ago, like Skype and all that was kind of like, oh my God, like we're in the Jetsons, you know? So Dawn and I got on Skype one day. We were like, okay, this is it. We're not going to lose our songwriting just because we're now 2,500 miles apart or whatever. So this was the first song I wrote across the airwaves like that. And it was pretty fun. And I wanted to write something that kind of, I was missing home, missing my friends, and we used to have these poker nights at my house every Friday night. And even after I had the kids, like, it didn't matter. It was like, oh, we got babies, but they're going to bed now because it's poker night. So we would have all our friends over. And Tim and Eric, they're watching right now, two of my best buds from back home. We call ourselves Jet because it's Jess and Eric and Tim. And we've known each other since we were 5 years old. So we just kind of grew up together, and that's
awesome.
It's pretty fun.
You have a squad name.
Squad name. Yeah, we are that dorky, and proud of it. So Tim had a job delivering people's bags from the airport when they lost their baggage, and they'd go. People fly into Calgary to do all kinds of things like skiing and whatnot, and all like mountains, and there's like, you know, resorts and stuff like an hour or two away. So he'd have to drive like an hour or two in the middle of the night. So one poker night, we jumped in the truck and drove to Field, BC to deliver someone's bag, and it's just fun memories. And I couldn't talk about all that in there, but when you hear the word young in this song, that was just a tiny little tip of the hat because Tim's last name is Young. So, you know, it's kind of just a story. It's just
Gotcha.
fun. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but it's an absolute blast. So
Sure.
This was my life back in Airdrie, Alberta. Okay. This is gross. I'm sorry. Cough drop's gotta go. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay.
That mic picks up all the sounds, too.
Oh, no. Okay, we were just talking about...
No, it's all good. It's all
No,
good.
you have to hear this. We
I
were
can
just
hear
talking...
it. It wasn't... You couldn't really hear anything.
Tim and Eric and I last night were just talking about this new thing that's going ASMR, you know, and everyone's all obsessed with like listening to people chew. I am so sorry.
You can start an ASMR video.
Wink, wink. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, here we go. The Highway, it's called. Friday night, and here we go. It's our version of the Late Late Show. Catch a look in my eye. Texas Hold'em and the stakes are high. Who's the first to show their hand? Come on, you guys, you know I am. And the night is still as young, and it's up to me. We're gonna have some fun. I'm bored, time to rev it up. What you were waiting for? Go and start your truck. We can jump in it, settle down. My heart's thumping, can you hear the sound? Shift it up into overdrive. I hope y'all saw that, Tim and Eric. I'm going to smack you if you didn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
Go listen to that song, everyone. It's a fun song.
That is on iTunes as well. Okay, I think we're going to maybe... Should we do a cover song?
Sure. Whatever you want to do.
We got about 20 minutes left. Let's see.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Let's save it for a quick sec. Let's skip over that and let's go to One of Those Days.
All right.
So I wrote this one with some dear friends from England named Chris and Abby Eaton. Got to sing it over there, and they got to come to one of my shows while I was touring there, which was super fun and cool. Again, just another song. We wrote it, just didn't mean a ton, but then I've had people come to me and say, you know, when you are having one of those days and you listen to this, it kind of takes away the urgency of the whatever crap is happening. And I've been doing a lot of work lately on like mindfulness and meditation and stuff. And one of the big things they say to do is to just embrace whatever negative thing is going on rather than trying to push it away and ignore it because it'll just scream louder. And so I've really been trying to put it into practice. And I gotta tell you, it really works. So when you're having one of those days, just, I don't know, just bring it on. Bring on the next disaster. Happy ever after can wait. Hearing these songs played like for real, like you learn them so good and it sounds so good.
Well,
I really appreciate you.
I don't know about so good, but
well, so good with the amount of time I gave you.
Well,
how about that? Flaming Red you learned when you got to my house. So let's give credit where credit is due.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Okay, one of my favorite story songs, and I'm checking time. Okay, we still got like 15 minutes, so we're good.
Such a rush.
So this is hilarious. This is one of my favorite stories ever. And when we start playing this, you might think, hey, I heard that song before on, Jess's YouTube channel or whatever. My daughter, I played it for her the other day, and she was like, Mom, I swear I've heard this song before. And I'm like, yeah, you actually have. So we rewrote the lyrics to it not very long ago, because what happened was I was on tour in Alberta, and I think it was like Brooks, Alberta, or something like that, way south. And I was down there getting ready for a show that night, and my manager called, and he said, I just saw this thing online. It's a reality show that Budweiser is putting on, and it's going to be the people that produce The Amazing Race are producing it. It's going to be on NBC. It's going to be a big deal. It's called The Big Time, and you need to quickly, like right now, today's the deadline, go record a video submission. Go, go, go. So I go back to my hotel room, record this video submission, and get it in right away, go play my show, don't think anything of it until, believe it or not, 1:11 the next day, my phone rings. All these 11s happen to me when, when big things are going on. So they called me and they're like, listen, we loved your submission. We want to hear more about you. We're actually going to extend the deadline just for you to get us this video. So I thought, well, that was kind of huge. Got them whatever they needed, and like 2 weeks later, my phone rings and they're like, okay, you made it to the audition process. We want to have you in LA to audition with as one of 12 people. And there was like 10,000 submissions. And I was like, are you kidding me? Wow. So I get off the phone. I am doing like a happy dance. Like I'm, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like losing my mind. And then all of a sudden my phone rings again. And they were like, oh, by the way, we forgot to mention, real quick, you have to accompany yourself. You can't sing to tracks, and you can't bring a player. You can't sing a cappella. And I was like my jaw like hit the ground. I was like, oh no. Uh-oh. And on the phone I was like, okay, cool, sounds great. And I hung up the phone and I was like, oh no. I know like 4 chords on a guitar. I don't play for myself at all.
So did you learn real quick?
So I called Dawn, my manager, and I was like, Dawn, I need to write a song that only has these 4 chords in it. I told him, I was like, that's it. That's all I know. That's the only chords I know. So he was in LAX airport. At the airport, we're on the phone. I'm like, I've got this old lyric. We could try and see if it fits with those chords. And we literally slapped this thing together in like 20 minutes. And it was kind of a cute, somewhat meaningless, like you've heard these lines before in every country song on the radio, and it was adorable. I loved it. Story. Yeah, yes, made for a great story. So we ended up deciding to record it way later, and then I loved the track so much that I still want to use it, but the lyrics didn't mean much to me, so we rewrote it, and I went to LA. I auditioned. I get in the room with these people, and I forget all of those words. And do this audition, and somehow, like, it was like just something took over my mind, and I made up new ones as I was singing, and I was like, what did I just say? Like, what just happened? So I get back to my room, my hotel room in LA, and I called Dawn, and I was like, man, I'm sorry. I just totally blew that. I'm really sorry. We did all this work, learned this song, and wrote it, and I blew it. They're either going to love it, or they're going to be like, what does she think she's doing trying to do music? And so I went home, sat around, waited. They said they'd let us know within a couple weeks. And by the way, the 12th person in the audition process dropped out, so I was actually the 11th person to audition. And I get home, and we got some relative from Germany visiting us. My mom and I were driving out to Drumheller, Alberta, where all these dinosaur bones and fossils are. Like, it's a huge place for that. We're driving out to show her this museum, and I kid you not, 11:11 on the clock, my phone rings. And my mom, up until that point, was like, you're nuts with this 11 thing. And then she saw it, and she was like, okay.
Maybe it's real.
Maybe this is actually happening to you. So anyway, they said, you made the show. You're on the show. You're the top 3. You're going to go to Vegas in September. This was like of 2011. And I was about to move here at that point. Made amazing friends doing it. A bunch of them I'm still in contact with daily, which is so much fun. And I got to do these 3 challenges, an a cappella singing of my national anthem, a live performance in downtown Vegas, and a songwriting jingle for the Las Vegas Tourism Association or whatever. And you can still go on YouTube. It's called The Big Time, and see bits and pieces of that. And I even put a little compilation that I made up there. And I don't know if they'll let you watch it because it's like copyrighted or whatever. But that is the deal with this song. So we rewrote the words. It kind of means something to me now. I will. Yes. And this is kind of I sang it for my daughter yesterday, and it kind of almost choked me up just singing the words of it, because I mean it. And when I was singing it to her, I'm like, hey, yeah, pay attention to this. So, okay, here we go.
I know what you're thinking when you're scrolling through your feed. Pinterest boards and Instagram will give you what you need. Now everybody else has got the wedding of your dreams, but a little change of status, it ain't always what it seems. You gotta slow it down when your heart is speeding up. Settle for the first one that tells you they're in love. Hurry up and wait, or fate will call your bluff. Don't be in such a rush.
So are you, dude. Loving that solo stuff. Okay, what do we got going on? What time do we have? Okay, we might just have to skip the covers and just stick with the songs.
Sure.
I don't mind at all. All right.
Men,
this is your favorite song.
This is my favorite one.
Okay, so I got the chance.
Any man should love this song.
I got the chance to write this really recently with somebody that I kind of grew up listening to on the radio, which was an incredibly cool moment. And I have to thank Justin Cutting for that. He used to play bass for me when I was in Canada. He introduced us. Her name's Carolyn Dawn Johnson. And I literally can remember learning how to drive and driving down the road, and she's on the radio while I'm doing life. And so that was super fun. And I just thought that, you know, there's so many songs right now that are out there that pretty much every song that a guy sings about a girl is like, man, she's so beautiful, she's so amazing, look at those curves.
I'm going home, gonna load my shotgun.
Yeah, and then all the songs that the girls are singing about guys are like, you're gonna bash in their trucks and kill them in their sleep and stuff. And it's like, okay, you guys deserve a little more credit. I know there's jerky ones out there. There's always gonna be, but I like guys. And so I wanted to sing a little song and write a little song that built them up and let you know that we appreciate you guys. So before Jarrett gets a big fat head, let's just play it.
Make them sound bad in all those country songs. Girls getting paid back for something they done wrong. They're made from dust and yeah, they give us hell. But now a girl don't have to open a door for herself. I know they're always coming in covered in dirt, but oh my lord, when they take off their shirts, they're always this close to conquer the world. All they really need is a good-hearted girl. And that's where we come in. We let them save us while we're saving them. You gotta know we're the reason. They stand up tall and keep on believing. I think deep down we all know they were meant to be our heroes. They're the best thing that you should check out the one that delivers my mail. But I get to be a fly in the garden that day, when the body and soul of a man was made. Sometimes they hurt us and they don't have a clue, but we're no saints either if we're telling the truth. They'd bend over backwards, walk a million miles to make us feel special, make us smile. And that's where we come in. We let them save us while we're saving them. You gotta know we're the reason they stand up tall and keep on believing. I think deep down we all know they were made to be our heroes. They're the best thing this side of heaven. Yeah, God's greatest invention. Yeah, he knew what he was doing, taking bone from bone, 'cause it just wouldn't do to leave a guy alone. 1, 2. So that's where we come in. We let them save us while we're saving them. You gotta know we're the reason they stand up tall and keep on believing. I think deep down we all know they were made to be our heroes. They're the best thing this side of heaven. Yeah, God's greatest invention. Oh, man.
Love it.
Thank you so much. All right, before we get to the end of our time here, I'm going to go back and check some comments, and I just realized I have done a terrible job of letting you guys know that we are taking tips for this concert, and you can see them on the screen. Venmo is...
right there. It's right there on the bottom of the
Yeah,
screen.
right there. It's
all good.
Venmo at Jessica-Ridley-111 and then paypal.me/Jessica-Ridley111. So thank you to everybody who's already done that. Really appreciate you so very much. I think that covers everything. Thank you to Cameron for having me on the show. Such a blast. So appreciative to get to sing my own music. And I would love it if you would check out our websites. Mine is right here. It's just jessicaridley.com. Yours... JarrettJamesMusic.com. I've got a merch page. I'm sure you do too.
Mm-hmm.
T-shirts, hats, koozies, all kinds of crazy stuff for sale. And iTunes has a bunch of our music. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking around with us. And thanks again to Cameron. And thank you, Jarrett.
Jessica's going to come do a Picking and Grinning show. So I do my own Facebook Live show. It's called Picking and Grinning. You'll be back soon for that, by
absolutely.
the way. We haven't scheduled it yet, but
I just found out.
it now.
Done. All right, so this
Thanks
song...
for having me out here, by the way.
Oh, man, I appreciate the heck out of you learning these songs.
No problem.
So, got to write this with James Dean Hicks and Don Somerville. It's just fun. That's all there is to it. So, have a blast and listen.
This song kicks ass.
Come on, girls, it's a ghost town, and it's up to us to bring it back to life. Getting so much trouble, no one can pay our bill. We've been all tied down, working 9 to 5, 'cause it pays the bills and keeps us alive. But let's spin these bars, break out of this jail. The story's a little hell, 'cause there's a throwdown somewhere waiting on us, and you know it can't start till we get it on up. But I turn on and run through your veins into your soul. If anybody messes with our cowgirl fun, we could go off like a loaded gun, like we ain't got our reputation to uphold. Put your hands in the air, it's what this night's about, y'all. Free your inner outlaw. This ain't the kind of night for playing it safe. Like a stick of dynamite, let's blow this place. Wait, I just saw a reason we should stay. A room full of bad boys asking our names, acting like modern day Jesse Jameses. We're gonna steal their hearts and ride gunslinger ride. Open range, bring 'em back dead or alive. Diamondback, copperhead, snakebite kiss. If you're thinking that I'm finished, let me tell you this. Pony up, wagon train, boot heel grave. Undertaker, widowmaker, can't be saved. Dust devil, gold mine, aces and eights. One card shy of a king, I straight. A full steam all night runaway train. If you ain't on board, that's a calamity. Jane.
Jessica Ridley, everyone.
James, you guys, thanks for having us. Mwah.
Thank y'all.